5 toxic habits that can make people lose respect for you. These aren't just harmless quirks, they're behaviors that can seriously undermine your reputation and damage your relationships. You might be thinking, come on, everyone has bad habits, and you're right. But the habits we're discussing today are particularly harmful because they strike at the core of how we interact with others. They can turn a promising friendship or professional relationship sound in no time. To give this topic a personal touch, I'm going to share some of my own experiences. Trust me, I've made plenty of mistakes along the way, and I've learned a lot from them. These stories are a bit raw and honest, but I believe sharing them will help us all grow by recognizing and overcoming these habits. We can start living a life full of dignity and respect. We'll be drawing on the teachings of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless advice for living a virtuous and fulfilling life. Stoicism is about more than just enduring hardships with a stiff upper lip. It's about cultivating inner peace, integrity, and resilience. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive in. Ready, let's get into it. Habit number 1. Gossiping is one of the most pervasive and insidious habits in human behavior. It has existed for centuries, embedded in cultural narratives, social dynamics, and even everyday conversations. Gossip often appears harmless, a way to pass the time, bond with others, or share information. However, beneath its surface lies a destructive force that erodes trust, tarnishes reputations, and damages relationships. By exploring what gossip is, why people engage in it, its harmful effects and strategies to overcome it, we can better understand why this habit deserves our attention and how to free ourselves from its grip. At its core, gossip is the act of discussing someone else's private affairs, often in a negative or judgmental manner, without their knowledge or consent. This can range from spreading unverified rumors about a colleague to discussing a friend's personal struggles behind their back. While gossip may sometimes involve truthful information, the intention behind sharing it often leans toward criticism, mockery, or sensationalism. People who gossip rarely consider the impact of their words on the subject of their conversation or on the relationships involved. One reason gossip is so widespread is its role in social bonding. Sharing inside information about someone else can create a sense of intimacy between gossipers. It is a way of saying, "We're in this together." However, this form of connection is inherently flawed. While it might foster temporary camaraderie, it is built on shaky foundations. Relationships formed through gossip often lack depth and authenticity because they are rooted in negativity rather than mutual respect or shared values. Another driving force behind gossip is insecurity. People who gossip may do so to deflect attention from their own flaws or shortcomings. By pointing out others' mistakes or weaknesses, they feel a temporary sense of superiority. This behavior often masks deeper feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. Similarly, gossip can serve as a form of social power. Knowing and sharing private information can make someone feel important or influential, even if their actions ultimately harm themselves and others. The consequences of gossip are far-reaching and often devastating. One of the most immediate effects is the erosion of trust. When people discover that someone has been gossiping about them, they feel betrayed and hurt. The bond of trust that once existed is broken, and rebuilding it can be incredibly challenging. This is true in all areas of life: friendships, family relationships, and professional environments. In workplaces, gossip can lead to a toxic culture, reduced morale, and strained team dynamics. Trust is the bedrock of effective collaboration, and gossip undermines it at every turn. Gossip also damages the reputation of the person spreading it. While gossipers might initially feel a sense of power or control, others eventually recognize their behavior for what it is: a sign of immaturity, insecurity, and a lack of integrity. Over time, people avoid confiding in or associating with someone who has a reputation for gossiping. The gossiper becomes isolated, trapped in the very negativity they sought to spread. Furthermore, gossip perpetuates a cycle of negativity. When we focus on others' flaws or misfortunes, we cultivate a mindset that is critical, judgmental, and cynical. This not only affects our relationships, but also our overall mental well-being. Constantly engaging in negative conversations can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. It's difficult to maintain a positive outlook when your thoughts and words are steeped in criticism. Breaking free from the habit of gossiping requires self-awareness and intentional effort. The first step is to recognize when you are about to gossip or when you are participating in a conversation that involves gossip. Pay attention to your motivations. Are you sharing information to genuinely help someone, or are you seeking to entertain, criticize, or gain approval? By questioning your intentions, you can better decide whether or not to speak. Empathy is another powerful tool in overcoming gossip. Put yourself in the shoes of the person being discussed. How would you feel if the same things were said about you? This shift in perspective can help you see the harm gossip causes and inspire you to choose a more compassionate approach. Redirecting conversations is an effective strategy to avoid gossip. If someone begins discussing another person's private affairs, steer the dialogue toward a neutral or positive topic. For example, if a co-worker starts gossiping about a colleague's mistakes, you might redirect the conversation by discussing a recent team achievement or brainstorming solutions to shared challenges. Over time, others will come to see you as someone who values constructive dialogue over negativity. Another essential step is to build integrity in your communication. This means being truthful, respectful, and intentional with your words. If you don't know the full story or aren't sure about the accuracy of the information, refrain from sharing it. Even when you do have accurate information, ask yourself whether sharing it serves a constructive purpose. In most cases, it's better to remain silent than to spread information that could harm someone's reputation or well-being. It's also important to address the root causes of gossiping in your life. If you find yourself gossiping out of insecurity, work on building self-confidence and self-acceptance. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, and surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. If gossip has become a habit due to boredom or a lack of meaningful conversation, seek out more enriching ways to connect with others, such as discussing shared interests, goals, or experiences. Finally, there are times when issues genuinely need to be addressed, such as in cases of harmful behavior or unresolved conflicts. In these situations, direct and respectful communication is far more effective than gossip. Speak to the person involved privately and with an open mind, focusing on finding solutions rather than assigning blame. This approach not only resolves problems more effectively, but also strengthens relationships by fostering honesty and mutual respect. In conclusion, gossiping is a habit that may seem harmless on the surface, but carries significant consequences. It erodes trust, damages reputations, and perpetuates negativity in our relationships and within ourselves. By choosing empathy, integrity, and constructive communication, we can break free from the cycle of gossip and create a more positive and respectful environment. In a world that often thrives on scandal and sensationalism, the decision to rise above gossip is a powerful act of kindness and self-respect. Habit number 2. Being unreliable. Let's talk about being unreliable. Is one of the most valued traits in any relationship, be it personal or professional. It reflects trustworthiness, commitment, and respect for others. On the other hand, being unreliable can erode relationships, tarnish reputations, and create barriers to success. When someone is unreliable, they repeatedly fail to meet expectations, fulfill promises, or follow through on commitments. While this behavior may not always stem from ill intent, its consequences are profound and far-reaching. By exploring why unreliability occurs, its effects and strategies to overcome it, we can better understand its impact and work toward becoming more dependable. Unreliability can manifest in many ways, from consistently being late to appointments to neglecting responsibilities entirely. For example, a friend who promises to help but cancels at the last minute, or a colleague who misses deadlines, creates frustration and disappointment for those depending on them. These behaviors, while seemingly minor at first, accumulate over time, leading to broken trust and strained relationships. One common reason people become unreliable is poor time management. In today's fast-paced world, juggling multiple commitments can be overwhelming. People may overestimate their capacity, agreeing to take on more than they can handle, only to fall short later. Overcommitment often stems from a desire to please others or avoid conflict, but the resulting failure to deliver has the opposite effect. It leads to disappointment and frustration. Another contributing factor is a lack of prioritization. Without clear goals or a structured approach, tasks can pile up, deadlines may be missed, and important obligations can be overlooked. This creates a cycle of stress and inefficiency that further undermines reliability. Additionally, some individuals may struggle with procrastination or a fear of failure, which prevents them from taking action and meeting their responsibilities. Regardless of the cause, the effects of being unreliable are significant. In personal relationships, it can create a sense of insecurity and resentment. Loved ones may feel unimportant or undervalued when someone they rely on consistently fails to show up or follow through. This can lead to a breakdown in communication and trust, making it difficult to maintain healthy connections. In professional settings, unreliability can be even more damaging. It undermines teamwork, disrupts productivity, and reflects poorly on one's competence and dedication. Colleagues may feel burdened by having to compensate for the unreliable individual's shortcomings, leading to tension and dissatisfaction within the team. Over time, an unreliable employee may lose opportunities for advancement or even jeopardize their career. Moreover, being unreliable impacts one's own self-esteem and confidence. Constantly falling short of expectations can create feelings of guilt, inadequacy, and frustration. This negative self-perception can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, perpetuating a cycle of unreliability and missed opportunities. Fortunately, unreliability is not an unchangeable trait. With self-awareness, determination, and practical strategies, anyone can work toward becoming more dependable. The first step is acknowledging the problem. Reflect on how your actions, or lack thereof, impact others and your own life. Consider the times when you failed to meet expectations and identify patterns or recurring challenges. Understanding the root causes of your unreliability is crucial for addressing them effectively. Time management is a fundamental skill in becoming reliable. Start by organizing your schedule and setting clear priorities. Use tools such as calendars, planners, or apps to keep track of your commitments and deadlines. Break tasks into manageable steps and allocate specific time slots for each activity. This structured approach helps prevent overcommitment and ensures you stay on top of your responsibilities. Learning to say no is another important aspect of reliability. While it may be tempting to agree to everything to please others, overextending yourself often leads to disappointment when you can't deliver. Be honest about your capacity and limitations. Saying no when necessary demonstrates self-awareness and respect for others' time and expectations. It's better to decline up front than to fail later. Communication plays a vital role in building reliability. If unforeseen circumstances arise that prevent you from fulfilling a commitment, inform the relevant parties as soon as possible. Apologize sincerely and offer a solution, such as rescheduling or finding an alternative way to meet their needs. Proactive communication shows accountability and helps maintain trust, even when setbacks occur. Building reliability also involves cultivating consistency. Make a conscious effort to follow through on your promises, no matter how small they may seem. Start with manageable commitments and gradually build a track record of dependability. Over time, others will come to see you as someone they can count on, strengthening your relationships and reputation. In addition to practical strategies, addressing the mindset behind unreliability is essential. Reflect on your motivations and values. Why do you want to become more reliable? Perhaps it's to strengthen your relationships, enhance your career prospects, or improve your self-esteem. Keeping these goals in mind can provide the motivation needed to make lasting changes. Developing a sense of accountability is also crucial. Recognize that your actions or inactions have consequences, not just for yourself, but for those around you. By taking responsibility for your commitments and their outcomes, you demonstrate maturity and respect for others. Becoming reliable is not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about striving to be trustworthy and dependable, even when challenges arise. When setbacks occur, learn from them and use the experience to improve. Reliability is a skill that can be developed and refined over time with consistent effort and a willingness to grow. The rewards of being reliable are immeasurable. In personal relationships, dependability fosters trust, strengthens bonds, and creates a sense of security. Loved ones feel valued and respected when they know they can count on you. In professional settings, reliability enhances your reputation, opens doors to new opportunities, and builds a positive work environment. Perhaps most importantly, becoming reliable improves your relationship with yourself. As you fulfill commitments and meet expectations, you gain confidence in your abilities and develop a sense of pride in your accomplishments. This positive self-perception motivates you to continue, striving for excellence, creating a virtuous cycle of growth and success. In conclusion, being unreliable is a habit that can damage relationships, hinder professional growth, and harm one's self-esteem. However, it is not an unchangeable trait. By recognizing the causes of unreliability, implementing practical strategies such as time management and effective communication, and cultivating a mindset of accountability, anyone can become more dependable. Reliability is the foundation of meaningful relationships and a key to personal and professional success. When you make the effort to be reliable, you not only earn the trust and respect of others, but also build a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Habit number 3, interrupting others. Let's talk about this habit. During conversations may seem like a minor annoyance, but it is a behavior that carries significant consequences for relationships and communication. At its core, interrupting is a form of disrespect. It signals that what you have to say is more important than the speaker's thoughts, often creating frustration, misunderstanding, and a sense of being undervalued. While interruptions may be unintentional and sometimes even well-meaning, their impact on personal and professional dynamics cannot be understated. Understanding why we interrupt, how it affects others, and how to overcome this habit can help foster healthier, more respectful communication. Interrupting is the act of cutting someone off while they are speaking, typically to insert your own thoughts, opinions, or questions. It can occur in various forms, from finishing someone's sentences to changing the subject abruptly. While some interruptions are situational, such as when time is limited or urgent clarification is needed. Most interruptions stem from a lack of awareness, impatience, or a desire to dominate the conversation. People interrupt for different reasons. One common reason is excitement or enthusiasm. When someone feels passionate about a topic, they might jump in to share their perspective without realizing they are cutting off the other person. Similarly, some interruptions arise from a desire to connect. For instance, finishing someone's sentence or adding a quick comment may feel like a way to show understanding or agreement. However, even these well-intentioned interruptions can make the speaker feel unheard or overshadowed. In other cases, interruptions are rooted in impatience or self-centeredness. A person may feel that their point is more important or insightful than what the other person is saying, leading them to cut in. This behavior often reflects a lack of active listening and empathy, as the interrupter prioritizes their own thoughts over the flow of the conversation. Cultural and societal norms can also play a role in interrupting. In some cultures, interruptions are seen as a normal part of lively discussions, while in others, they are considered rude and disrespectful. Gender dynamics can further complicate the issue. Studies have shown that men are more likely to interrupt women in professional and social settings, which can contribute to feelings of marginalization and inequality. Recognizing these nuances is essential for fostering inclusive and respectful communication. The effects of interrupting go beyond the immediate conversation. For the person being interrupted, it can create feelings of frustration, disrespect, and even insecurity. Being cut off repeatedly sends a message that their thoughts or opinions are less valuable, which can erode their confidence over time. In group settings, interruptions can stifle collaboration and creativity by silencing diverse perspectives. When only the most assertive voices dominate, valuable ideas and insights may be lost. Interrupting also impacts the interrupter's reputation and relationships. People who frequently interrupt are often perceived as rude, impatient, or self-centered. Over time, this behavior can damage trust and make others reluctant to engage in meaningful conversations. In professional settings, it may hinder teamwork and collaboration, as colleagues may feel disrespected or undervalued. Breaking the habit of interrupting requires self-awareness and deliberate effort. The first step is to recognize when and why you interrupt. Pay attention to your conversations and notice patterns in your behavior. Are you interrupting because you're excited, impatient, or trying to assert dominance? Understanding your motivations can help you address the root cause of the habit. Active listening is a powerful tool for overcoming interruptions. Instead of focusing on what you want to say next, give your full attention to the speaker. Listen not only to their words, but also to their tone, emotions, and underlying message. This practice helps you stay present in the conversation and demonstrates respect for the speaker's perspective. Patience is another crucial aspect of respectful communication. Resist the urge to jump in, even if you feel strongly about the topic. Allow the speaker to finish their thought before responding. If you're worried about forgetting your point, jot down a quick note or use a mental cue to remind yourself. This simple strategy ensures that you don't lose your train of thought while still respecting the other person's turn to speak. Practicing empathy can also help reduce interruptions. Consider how it feels to be interrupted. Frustrating, invalidating, and even disrespectful. By putting yourself in the other person's shoes, you can cultivate a greater appreciation for the importance of letting them express themselves fully. Empathy fosters a sense of connection and mutual respect, which are essential for meaningful conversations. In group discussions, managing interruptions becomes even more important. Facilitators or leaders can set the tone by establishing ground rules, such as taking turns to speak or using visual cues to indicate when someone has finished. Encouraging quieter participants to share their thoughts can help balance the conversation and ensure that all voices are heard. It's also important to address interruptions constructively when they occur. If someone interrupts you, calmly and assertively reclaim your turn to speak. For example, you might say, "I'd like to finish my point before we move on," or "I appreciate your input, but I'd like to complete my thought first." These statements convey your desire to continue speaking without escalating the situation. For habitual interrupters, seeking feedback from trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors can provide valuable insights. Ask them to observe your communication style and point out instances where you interrupt. Their perspective can help you identify blind spots and develop greater self-awareness. Overcoming the habit of interrupting is not about stifling your voice or avoiding active participation in conversations. Instead, it's about finding a balance between expressing your thoughts and respecting others' contributions. By practicing patience, active listening, and empathy, you can create an environment where everyone feels valued and heard. The benefits of respectful communication extend far beyond individual interactions. When people feel heard and respected, they are more likely to share openly, collaborate effectively, and build stronger connections. In personal relationships, this fosters trust, intimacy, and understanding. In professional settings, it promotes teamwork, innovation, and a positive work culture. In conclusion, interrupting others is a habit that can seem harmless, but has significant consequences for relationships and communication. It signals a lack of respect, disrupts the flow of conversations, and silences diverse perspectives. However, by recognizing the impact of interruptions and adopting strategies such as active listening, patience, and empathy, we can break free from this behavior and foster healthier, more respectful interactions. Effective communication is not just about speaking, it's about listening, understanding, and valuing the voices of others. Habit number 4. Complaining. Complaining is a natural human response to dissatisfaction or adversity. At its core, it is the expression of displeasure or frustration about a situation, event, or person. While occasional venting can be cathartic and even helpful in problem solving, habitual complaining is a destructive behavior that harms both the complainer and those around them. It fosters negativity, damages relationships, and undermines one's ability to find solutions or growth in challenging circumstances. By understanding why people complain, the effects of constant complaining, and strategies to break this habit, we can cultivate a more constructive and positive outlook on life. Complaining often arises from unmet expectations or a sense of helplessness. People complain when reality falls short of their desires, whether it's about the weather, a long line at the grocery store, or a co-worker's behavior. In many cases, complaining provides a temporary release for pent-up frustration. It allows individuals to voice their grievances and seek validation or sympathy from others. However, while venting might offer momentary relief, it rarely addresses the root of the issue or leads to meaningful change. Another reason people complain is the desire for connection. Sharing common frustrations, such as grumbling about traffic or a difficult boss, can create a sense of camaraderie. Complaining becomes a way to bond over shared experiences. However, this form of connection is often superficial and short-lived. Over time, excessive complaining can alienate others, as constant negativity becomes draining and unproductive. For some, complaining is a way to avoid responsibility or action. By focusing on external problems, they shift attention away from their role in the situation. For instance, a student might blame a tough exam on the teacher's unfairness rather than acknowledging a lack of preparation. This deflection prevents personal growth and reinforces a victim mindset where external circumstances are always at fault. The consequences of habitual complaining extend far beyond the individual. For one, it creates a toxic environment. Whether at home, work, or social gatherings, constant negativity can weigh heavily on others, affecting their mood, energy, and outlook. People who are consistently exposed to complaints may begin to feel drained, frustrated, or even resentful toward the complainer. This can strain relationships and lead to isolation, as others may avoid engaging with someone who perpetually focuses on the negative. Complaining also reinforces a negative mindset within the complainer. The more one focuses on problems and shortcomings, the harder it becomes to see opportunities, solutions, or positives. This creates a feedback loop where negativity breeds more negativity, making it increasingly difficult to break free. Over time, this mindset can impact mental health, contributing to feelings of dissatisfaction, stress, and even depression. In professional settings, habitual complaining can hinder teamwork and productivity. When employees constantly grumble about workloads, management, or company policies without offering constructive solutions, it fosters a culture of discontent. This can reduce morale, discourage innovation, and create a blame game mentality where progress stalls because everyone is focused on problems rather than solutions. Breaking the habit of complaining requires self-awareness and intentional effort. The first step is recognizing when and why you complain. Keep track of your complaints throughout the day, what triggers them, how often they occur, and how they affect your mood and interactions. This self-reflection can help you identify patterns and underlying causes. Once you've identified the triggers, focus on reframing your perspective. Instead of dwelling on problems, shift your attention to solutions. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, consider how you can use the time productively, such as listening to an audiobook or practicing mindfulness. By adopting a problem-solving mindset, you not only address the issue at hand, but also cultivate a more proactive and empowered outlook. Practicing gratitude is another powerful antidote to complaining. When you focus on the positives in your life, the negatives begin to lose their grip. Start a gratitude journal where you list 3 things you're thankful for each day, no matter how small. This simple practice trains your mind to look for the good in every situation, reducing the urge to complain. Mindfulness and emotional regulation can also help curb the habit of complaining. When you feel the urge to grumble, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself whether expressing your frustration will improve the situation or simply add to the negativity. Often, a moment of reflection is enough to redirect your energy toward more constructive actions. It's important to differentiate between complaining and constructive feedback. Complaining focuses on problems without offering solutions, while constructive feedback seeks to address issues in a productive way. For instance, instead of saying, "This project is a disaster," you might say, "I'm struggling with this aspect of the project. Can we brainstorm some solutions?" Constructive feedback not only resolves issues, but also demonstrates a willingness to collaborate and grow. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can also make a difference. Spend time with people who inspire and uplift you, rather than those who encourage negativity or gossip. Positive role models can help you adopt healthier communication habits and maintain a more optimistic outlook. In group settings, addressing a culture of complaining requires a collective effort. Encourage open communication and solution-oriented discussions. Set the tone by modeling positivity and reframing complaints into constructive feedback. For example, if a colleague complains about a meeting being unproductive, guide the conversation toward how future meetings can be more efficient. Forgiving yourself and others for lapses in positivity is also crucial. Breaking the habit of complaining is a process, and setbacks are inevitable. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories along the way. Recognize that everyone has moments of frustration and that the goal is not perfection, but progress. The rewards of reducing complaints are profound. In personal relationships, a positive and constructive approach fosters deeper connections, trust, and mutual respect. People are drawn to those who uplift and inspire, making it easier to build meaningful and supportive bonds. In professional settings, a solution-oriented mindset enhances collaboration, innovation, and morale. Colleagues appreciate team members who focus on possibilities rather than problems, creating a more productive and enjoyable work environment. Most importantly, shifting away from complaining improves your relationship with yourself. By focusing on gratitude, solutions, and personal growth, you cultivate a sense of empowerment and resilience. This not only enhances your mental well-being, but also equips you to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. In conclusion, complaining is a habit that drains positivity, damages relationships, and limits personal and professional growth. While occasional venting is natural, habitual complaining reinforces a negative mindset and perpetuates dissatisfaction. By recognizing the triggers of complaints, reframing your perspective, practicing gratitude, and adopting a solution-oriented approach, you can break free from this cycle and embrace a more constructive way of living. The choice to focus on solutions rather than problems is a powerful step toward a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life habit. Number 5. Validation. Validation is an essential part of human nature. As social creatures, we thrive on recognition, approval, and affirmation from others. Whether it's a compliment on our appearance, praise for our hard work, or simply the acknowledgement of our feelings, validation helps us feel valued, understood, and accepted. However, when we find ourselves seeking validation constantly, it can become a problematic habit that affects our mental health, relationships, and overall sense of self-worth. Constantly seeking validation occurs when we rely heavily on others' opinions and approval to feel good about ourselves. We may crave praise, reassurance, or attention in ways that create an emotional dependency on external sources of validation. This habit often stems from a lack of self-esteem or an internal belief that we are not worthy unless others affirm our worth. While a little validation here and there is normal, relying on it consistently can lead to a range of issues that hinder personal growth and lead to emotional exhaustion. There are many reasons why people seek validation from others. One of the most common reasons is the desire to feel accepted. As human beings, we are wired to seek approval from those around us because it helps us feel connected and part of a group. Whether it's in family dynamics, friendships, or romantic relationships, being acknowledged makes us feel valued. But when this need becomes excessive, it can lead to an unhealthy dependency on others for self-worth. Another reason people may seek constant validation is rooted in insecurity. If someone lacks confidence in themselves or feels uncertain about their abilities, they may turn to others to confirm their worth. For instance, someone might constantly ask for praise after completing a task, even though they are fully capable. This reliance on outside recognition creates a cycle of dependency, where the person begins to feel incomplete without reassurance from others. Some individuals may seek validation as a way to avoid criticism or rejection. If they are afraid of being judged or criticized, they may seek constant positive feedback to protect themselves from negative feelings. This fear of judgment can lead to a constant need for praise or approval in order to feel safe and secure in their interactions. While seeking validation occasionally is natural, when it becomes a constant habit, it can lead to several negative effects. One of the most significant consequences is a diminished sense of self-worth. When we rely on others to tell us we are good enough, smart enough, or attractive enough, we begin to lose touch with our own internal sense of value. We may feel empty or unsure of ourselves when external praise is absent, as our self-worth becomes tied to the opinions of others. Additionally, seeking constant validation can cause anxiety. The need for reassurance can lead to overthinking and stress, as individuals become preoccupied with how they are being perceived. This can create a constant fear of rejection, failure, or not meeting expectations, which only increases feelings of insecurity. When we live our lives based on external validation, we are less likely to trust our instincts and abilities, constantly questioning our decisions and choices. Another harmful effect of seeking validation is that it can strain relationships. People who seek constant validation may come across as needy, clingy, or emotionally dependent. Friends, family, or romantic partners might feel overwhelmed by the frequent need for praise or reassurance, leading to frustration or distance in the relationship. Over time, this can lead to resentment, as the person giving the validation may feel as though they are constantly expected to fulfill the other person's emotional needs. Seeking validation constantly also hinders personal growth. When we are always looking to others for affirmation, we are less likely to take risks, make decisions independently, or develop our own sense of direction. We may avoid doing things that challenge us or take us outside our comfort zone because we are too focused on seeking approval. This reliance on others for validation limits our ability to grow and learn, as we may be more concerned with how others perceive us than with our own development. Breaking the habit of constantly seeking validation is challenging but not impossible. It requires building self-awareness, developing self-esteem, and learning to trust in our own abilities and worth. Here are some steps to help overcome the need for constant validation. 1. Build self-awareness. The first step in overcoming the habit of seeking validation is becoming aware of when and why we do it. Pay attention to moments when you feel the urge to seek approval, praise, or reassurance from others. Is it in response to a particular situation, task, or person? Are there patterns or triggers that cause you to seek validation? By identifying these moments, you can begin to understand the underlying reasons for the behavior and take steps to address them. 2. Develop self-esteem. To break free from the need for constant validation, it's essential to work on building your self-esteem. This involves recognizing your own value and abilities, independent of others' opinions. One way to build self-esteem is through positive self-talk. Replace negative, self-critical thoughts with affirmations that focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Remind yourself of your worth without relying on outside approval. Setting and achieving personal goals, no matter how small, can also help build confidence. Celebrate your achievements and progress, even if they are not recognized by others. By learning to validate yourself, you will feel more secure in your own worth. 3. Learn to trust yourself. Self-trust is crucial for overcoming the need for constant validation. Trust your instincts, judgment, and decisions, even if they are not always validated by others. Make choices based on your values, desires, and what feels right for you, rather than seeking approval from others. When you learn to trust yourself, you become less dependent on external validation and more confident in your own choices. 4. Embrace imperfection. The fear of judgment often stems from the desire to be perfect in the eyes of others. However, nobody is perfect, and we all make mistakes. Embrace imperfection and understand that it's okay not to have everything figured out. Allow yourself to be human and let go of the need for constant approval. Learning to accept your flaws and limitations will help reduce the pressure to seek validation. 5. Focus on intrinsic motivation. Rather than relying on external praise, focus on intrinsic motivation, doing things for your own satisfaction, growth, and enjoyment. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, working on a personal project, or developing a skill, do it because it brings you joy or helps you improve. When you focus on internal rewards rather than external recognition, you will feel more fulfilled and less dependent on the approval of others. Seeking validation is a natural human tendency, but when it becomes a constant habit, it can have detrimental effects on our mental health, relationships, and personal growth. The key to overcoming this behavior lies in developing self-awareness, building self-esteem, trusting ourselves, embracing imperfection, and focusing on intrinsic motivation. By shifting our focus from seeking external approval to valuing our own worth, we can break free from the cycle of constant validation and build a stronger, more resilient sense of self. Ultimately, the most important validation comes from within, and when we learn to validate ourselves, we become empowered to live authentically and confidently. In life, the way we communicate and interact with others shapes the relationships we build. Habits like gossiping, being unreliable, interrupting others, and complaining may seem like harmless actions in the moment, but they have far-reaching consequences for our personal and professional lives. These behaviors can erode trust, hinder collaboration, and create negative environments that are difficult to thrive in. However, the good news is that these habits can be changed with intentional effort, self-awareness, and a commitment to growth. By replacing gossiping with more positive, supportive conversations, we foster an environment of trust and respect. Being reliable builds stronger, more dependable relationships, both in our personal lives and at work. Practicing active listening and respecting others' turns to speak can help us avoid interrupting, making our interactions more thoughtful and collaborative. Finally, shifting away from constant complaining and focusing on solutions can lead to a more productive, positive mindset, benefiting our mental well-being and improving our connections with others. Changing these habits isn't easy, and it won't happen overnight. But by consciously working to replace them with more constructive behaviors, we can create stronger bonds, build mutual respect, and contribute to a more positive, fulfilling life. Ultimately, the key to success lies in treating others with kindness, showing respect for their time and opinions, and being mindful of how our actions influence those around us. Through these efforts, we not only enhance our relationships, but also improve our own sense of self-worth and personal growth. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Let's strive to live better, more respectful lives. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic.